It's Friday, the 13th, but we are fearless, and this is that week, the week that was. I'm your host, Simon Brown, joined by Susfin Securities' David Shapiro, Vestact's Bright Khumalo. Gentlemen, welcome. The Bulls are back. See what happens? I take a week off, and the Bulls are back.
And they're going to keep running.
Okay,
they're not stopping.
I'm not too sure about that.
I don't know. Jimmy Moyaha asked me today, why is the market so excited? I'm like, I don't know, but I'll take it.
Because things are okay. That's why.
It was a nice inflation print.
Well, the inflation's dead. It's gone. You know, it's now what's killing the markets are high interest rates. You know, and I'm in the 50 basis points camp.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk interest rates.
I'll talk to you about it.
Yeah.
The market is getting excited with that as well, so maybe you might be right.
But even our local market, I mean, there's been, yesterday at one point we were 1,000 points up. I don't know when last we've had 1,000 pointer to the up.
But also our central banker, Bright Khumalo, did say that, you know, if things continue like how they're continuing right now, especially on the inflation side of less than 4.8%, we might see, you know, some reprieve there on interest rates as well. So I'll take that. And our market year to date has actually performed quite well. So it's not.
So here's a fun fact. Out of EMs, our currency third best in dollars, our bonds in dollars, we are the top EM bond return this year.
There you go.
There's no better. It's like 14% in dollars.
To be fair, that was staring you in the face. Not a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
For a really long time,
For a long time, and we've been talking about it. It's not as though we haven't said this was if you wanted to go somewhere, go long bonds. I went long. I went like 2020. 20 years, 2040. I can't count. and the returns have been remarkable. And you're getting that capital kicker now. But still, you know, you plugged in 10.5%, 11% return for as long as you want.
Things just look sweet out there. Unless you live in a war zone.
No, we'll take the good news, because there's a lot of, every time there's, you know, bad news, that always catches the headlines. So we'll take the good news and actually we'll scream about the good news. It's good to be in the markets currently.
I think what we have to watch for now, if we keep seeing like the platinum shares going up, even against the bad news, then you know everything's, the sponge is soaked. You know, in other words,
we're hitting a cap.
Over.
We're hitting a cap.
I got to say, people buying platinum the last 2 days has had me scratching. The PGMs go up to $1,000, which is nothing, and like everyone's like, "Oh, let's buy some bankrupt PGM miner." Also making news this week: the Orange won, and the prosecutor went head-to-head in the U.S. presidential debate. And well, there was only one winner, and she isn't orange. U.S. inflation comes in perfect. The ECB cuts, and next week, as we said, turn of the big boys. Yes, we're looking at you, MPC peeps. Cabernac is out, lasting only 2 weeks. Better than Des did, but not by much. Anglo Gold goes into Egypt, and Anglo American goes out of Anglo Platinum. James Earl Jones passes away, but his voice has been cloned, so Darth Vader rides on. Nestle exits Cremora, and the education bill threatens the GNU. Maybe or maybe not. It's hard to tell with politicians. The Bell Equipment delisting fails. The quantum directors survive by the smallest of margins. And the JC censors Caxton, who then publishes all the nasty bits on a new censor announcement, saving us the hard work. But first, let's start with news that broke early this morning. Pravin Gordhan passed away last night. He was 75. He sorted out SARS during his decade as commissioner, valiantly tried to save us from the greedy hands of state capture. Regardless of where you stand in politics, he served our country well and always fought corruption. Bright, you've got an alternative view, and there is an alternative view. When he was in the SOE's, Department of Public Works,
what state enterprise do you want me to name, and how many jobs have been culled as a result?
And bails out to SAA.
Denel, Eskom. Well, Eskom alone actually has crippled this economy alone. So don't even count jobs.
30 billion to SAA. I mean, he saved my Voyager miles, but he could have just given me $1 billion. I would have been happy.
You're a jokester, but I mean, we'll take the good with the bad. And he must rest in peace, I guess.
He must rest in peace. David, he was a stalwart. He was completely uncorruptible. He was a man of his beliefs. You might not have agreed with them, but man, he stood firm on them. It
was only his SOE period, I think, that
should have called it after Zuma. Yeah.
And he became very stubborn, like Gordhan now, you know, and stood in the way of progress.
And stubborn worked for him. Like at when he said no to nuclear, it worked for him at SARS. but it didn't work for
Not
him.
at the SOEs. You know, he could have, and I think it's one of the reasons that we have such slow growth now. You know, the SOEs have just been this burden on this economy. And even now, you know, one's got to wake up to it, whether it's SAA, whatever it is, wherever we are. Yes, we're starting to see a better Eskom. We don't really know what's happening.
But they've still got 200 million debt.
Yeah, no, they've got massive debt. Anyway, I don't, you know, from the early days where I remember him, he was always, as you said, a stalwart, somebody there who believed in his, you know,
better
his
South
principles.
Africa.
Yeah,
I don't, yeah.
For a politician, he had two features, which is rare in politicians. He had principles, and they weren't for sale. There was no changing. Those were them. You didn't like them? I don't have any others. These ones. And he was uncorruptible by all accounts.
No, fairly.
And I'm going to miss
That's why it's hard for us to talk about him.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
But that's the
Really
thing.
hard.
Legacies
Yeah.
are never binary. I mean, and what I loved most is his declaration in Parliament every year about his shareholdings, and I would go and do a critique of his shareholdings.
The good thing is he wasn't a polarizing figure.
Yeah.
That's very important.
Yeah. We will miss him. RIP, condolences to the family. US CPI came in at a lovely 2.5. The ECB cut another quarter. Next week, Fed Wednesday, MPC Thursday. I have to be honest, can we just start cutting? We were saying, I am so tired of rates. We were talking about this a year ago.
Jackson Hole, it's been too long.
I'm in the 50 points. I'm saying, if you're going to cut. You know what I mean?
Don't mess around.
Don't mess around. Kick us. Give us a kick. Get the economies growing again, because we need growth and we need to change the confidence level.
50 for us and US.
Yes, I think for us, I hope it's a lot more. You know, I use the comparison of my wife, who, when she's got a mild headache, she doesn't take pills on that, but if she's got a bit of flu, she'll go to the Panada bottle, and it says take 2, she takes 1. I say, you know, what's taking 1? It's not going to help now, you know. I haven't got,
So
I'm not that sick.
kind of like your wife. If I got a headache, I do nothing. If it gets to a certain point, to take 3 grandpa. Okay, so we want the Simon NPC, not David's wife.
Yeah, but there is a risk when we talk about the Fed, is that if they do cut and the cut is 0.25%, like you guys are saying, the market's not going to like it because it's pricing in 50 basis points.
But then if it cuts 50, the market's not going to like it because it's worried that things are worse.
No. If they cut 50 basis points, I think it would be sideways.
Yeah. Now 50 there'll be a response. 25, boring.
25 is a problem.
Okay, 50. We have voted. Shall we let everyone know? Because I'm so tired of rates.
Yeah. And here we are 10.75 on the prime.
11.75.
11.75.
Sorry, 11.
Oh, just cut pace. Okay, we want David as our next MPC governor. If you're tired about the lower rate story, do I have an even longer and more tiring story for you? The US presidential elections. Although sometimes I feel the words presidential and US elections don't belong in the same sentence, but the convicted felon and the prosecutor went head to head, and not even MAGA diehards can think Orange won. And to the surprise of nobody, Taylor Swift endorses Harris.
I love Taylor Swift. I wasn't a Swiftie, but now I am.
I don't like her music much, but she's a great lady.
Why are you guys haters? The music is good too.
The music's...
You guys need
Give me
to
Nicki Minaj, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But the fact that she said, we're tired of the chaos.
Yeah.
You know, in simple, I'm putting it into my own words when she
In
tweeted.
one piece.
Yeah.
And that debate was a microcosm of the chaos.
Yeah.
Trump and his craziness, I mean, cats and dogs and nonsense.
That doesn't even cut it. The cats and dogs story is funny. It's not even the highlight.
Although I got to say, the TikTok with all the people's dogs when they were during the debate going to hide behind them. But it is, I mean, can November, whatever, 5 just roll on? And this should be a slam dunk. This should be the biggest walkover since Reagan in '84. But it's close.
The problem is that you don't know who's in the middle America. You don't know who's voting for him and how their feelings are.
Yeah, can I say it this way? So the polls that we're using currently are absolute, meaning like we go and ask 50,000 people what they think. But the problem is the voting system is not absolute.
The voting system is...
It's electoral college, it's messed up, and like you're saying, there's swing states in mid-America or whatever. It's going to be tough. Yeah. So it's not going to be a slam dunk like we wish it is. It's going to be close.
Okay, the new two-pot system went live last week, and South Africans, never shy to grab their share, did grab, with reports that by Wednesday this week, over 4 billion had been requested by 160,000 individuals. Hello, consumer stocks. Bye-bye retirement.
It sounds like the 45 billion rands estimation, you know, the pump that we want to get from this whole thing, was a bit of conservative.
Looks like we're going to fly. There was somebody said 80 billion, but I forget who. Maybe ABSA?
Maybe ABSA is right.
Yeah.
I mean, if the first week is looking this hot, I don't know.
Have we started to see the money being spent? Have there been reports of it coming through?
Come to the local tavern.
So the 160,000 number is tax directives issued by SARS.
Yeah.
Kudos to SARS to doing 160,000 in 10 days. The money is probably starting to trickle.
Yeah.
So by all accounts, the process has been smooth, assuming the website didn't crash.
Well, some website crashed.
Yeah,
like one
almost
of the biggest,
all of them did on Monday.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's going to be tough. They now know what type of traffic or eyes, whatever you want to call it, that they're dealing with. It's going to be tough for these businesses, but yeah.
It's an incredible number. Anyway,
we'll watch. Number. Before the break, in local corporate news, the Bell Equipment vote to buy out minorities failed. Quantum Foods held their EGM, and while the 3 directors survived the vote, scraping home with a smidgen over 50% is hardly a win unless you're a South African matric student. I was not surprised by the Quantum vote. The Bell one, I don't know. I mean, it's just, I suppose...
They've had trouble.
Yeah.
They've had lots of problems.
There's been lots on Twitter. Obi Cilliers has been digging.
And I'm surprised they lost. Because
but they lost by a lot. They need 75 because it's a special resolution, and they got like 49.50.
But the offer that they were making was a big premium to where they were trading. So, what do they do now? But they
make a bigger offer.
Well, they're going to have to.
Well, because it was a big premium, but it was NAV.
Yeah, well, that's what the investors are saying in that vote.
There's an element of mistrust creeping in now.
Well, remember, there was also a 10 rand offer.
That's what I'm saying.
A sneaky one during COVID. Exactly, yeah.
No.
So what is the business actually worth?
Well, the offer was 54. That's NAV. I want some cash flow out of it. I want 80, 90. Look, I'm not a shareholder, but I would want 80 or 90. Come back with your numbers.
You're going to get us popped in the street, but okay.
Is it that sort of...
No.
Yeah, okay.
Don't say those numbers out loud.
And then just quickly, the Caxton, they got a censure. That was great because they then went and printed all the bad things that they... Because I thought, I'm going to have to go look back at all these censors.
Don't start.
And there they were. Nicely listed. After the break, it's Golden Company results, corporate actions, and a clever way to make bad music and lots of money. But pity about the jail part.